most of you know, anytime you record any deed of record, the county will, it's a red flag for the county to look at it and say, okay, is this going to be a reassessable change of ownership? If you pull permits, you're doing new construction, that's another red flag that they can reassess your property if you've added square footage or if you've increased the value significantly in your home by whatever you did. Certain things like adding flooring and windows, you know, shouldn't be reassessable. But when you record a deed is what I wanted to speak about. So people will ask, you know, hey, can I add someone to title? Can you put the property in my trust? Can I put it in my entity? And the way it works is, yes, they will review it, okay? But there are certain things that are reassessable and certain ones that aren't. So if you're going to, let's say, there's parent to child transfer, that's a common one. So you want to you want to transfer the property from parent to child or from grandparent to grandchild. You can do it. There's forms to fill out, homeowner's exemption form as well, and you won't be reassessed. Parent to child or vice versa, child to parent, that works as well. Grandchild to grandparent, I mean, that's rare, but that would work as well. With the grandparent one, the parents in the middle need to be deceased in order for that to not be reassessed. If you're going to transfer the property from yourself as an individual to your trust or to an entity, as long as it's the exact same parties that are currently on title, that are, let's say if it's a trust, the trustees of the trust won't be reassessed. Same thing with an entity. If you're like the managing members of your LLC and you're the same people that are on title, it won't be reassessed. One of the tricky ones though is, which is a good thing, but joint tenancy. So let's say you own the property as joint tenants, right? Husband and wife as joint tenants. Now, joint tenancy is different from, you know, tenants in common, community property. You can add people to title. You can add joint tenants to title and not be reassessed. You can remove joint tenants to title and not be reassessed as long as the original owner, so the people who purchased the property as joint tenants, remain. If enough changes in title have happened to where the original owners are no longer on title, then no, it's going to be reassessed. But if you own the property, let's say husband and wife as joint tenants, and now you want to add on your cousin, your brother, your son, whoever, you can add them all on as joint tenants without being reassessed. And one other thing, if let's say you have a property, and you guys might come across this, where you're selling a property, you're listing someone's property, and you're dealing with a property where it's vested in the trust, and the trustees are deceased. And you know, most of the time you're dealing with the kids selling their parents' property. What they will need to do is file a homeowner's exemption. They have 1 year to do it. Well, let's say that those kids are living in the house and not selling it right away. In order for them to not be reassessed, they have about 1 year, fill out a homeowner's exemption to show proof that it's their primary residence. And they have about a year to do that. But now let's say that you're listing a property where the trustees are deceased, and maybe it's not the kids selling the property, it's someone else, but they haven't notified the county assessor of the death yet. So what will happen, just so you're aware, is the county will, once that transfers happen and the county sees that the property was sold and that finally through escrow the affidavit death of trustee for those deceased trustees gets recorded, the county will see that the property was sold. And the people that sold it might not have been the kids. They didn't fill out the homeowner's exemption, the parent to child transfer, which they can do if it is the kids. They can fill out that, even if the property's in a trust and the kids are going to sell it or the kids are going to live there, it still qualifies for parent to child transfer. They have to do the homeowner's exemption. But if it's not the kids selling and some other people selling their estate and they sell the property, they never notify the county, what happens is the county will see that and the county will still go after them for back taxes plus penalties, and they will track them down and do an unsecured tax lien against them as an individual. So just a little, you know, info. I get asked all the time about, hey, I want to record this deed, will we be reassessed? That's kind of it in a nutshell. But if you have more questions, just let me know.